What is up, everyone? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, joined by my friend and co-host Nick Nielsen. And today we have a pretty interesting topic, especially considering that the Yankees, if you look at how they've had injuries this year, a lot of them haven't been long-term ones. You know, Stanton one's probably the one that's going to last the longest out of the key players, at least, or at least you hope that it's not too long. But even then, like, it's not season-ending or anything of the sort. But the Yankees do have two position players on the way back, Josh Donaldson and Harrison Bader. We'll talk about Donaldson first, of course, because he's the one who's supposed to be back first. There's a good chance he's here Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how he feels after his rehab game today with the Somerset Patriots. But, you know, regardless of how you feel about Donaldson or Bader, you know, the bottom of the lineup for the Yankees, their bottom third of the order has given them a WRC plus under 50, an on-base percentage under 200. Now, a lot of that has to do with, you know, when Volpe was struggling, he was largely hitting ninth. IKF and Hicks typically hit the bottom lineup, and they have been atrocious to start the year. But still, you know, getting quality position players or even league average position players back is better than what you've currently had. But with that being said, there's a lot of roster moves the Yankees are going to have to make, a lot of, you know, playing time decisions they'll have to make. Before we get into all that, how are you doing today, my friend Nick?
I'm doing well. I mean, I'm excited to have some more reinforcements join in the team, join in the ranks, which is definitely needed at this point. Hicks and IKF, I think they've combined for what, I believe 2 hits on the season, 3 hits on the season. It's been a rough go of things, and the Yankees have been throwing out a couple of different lineups here to mitigate the loss of JD, which then again, to be honest, it's not that big of a loss when he went down. JD was ass offensively too. So it's like, well, hopefully he can find something with Somerset today, or tonight, I guess, is when he's going to be in the lineup, and he can kind of build on that when he comes back to the team. I just don't know what it's going to be exactly like when he comes back to the team. Like, Josh Donaldson isn't the worst player in baseball. Like, again, it's always the Yankees fans. We've had this conversation a ton, Ryan, about like Hicks and IKF and JD, which it's the big three of those guys. And it's always, these guys are terrible. The Yankees need to get rid of them. They need to cut them. I don't know if they need to cut them yet. Like Josh Donaldson especially, he had 17 plate appearances before he got injured. That's far too small of a sample size for me to be like, all right, let's throw this guy to the wolves. He's not going to bounce back at all. I am definitely, you know, on the side that's like, he's probably not going to be very good when he comes back, but you never know. That's the only thing with this whole thing, is that maybe he comes back and it was the injury, and maybe he had kind of tweaked it already beforehand, and then when he actually injured it, it just kind of made it so he couldn't play through it anymore. But I'm hoping that that's what it is, and I'm hoping he bounces back and looks good, and then we'll talk more about Bader as well as this episode goes on. Now that is going to be a big, big get for the Yankees. That will actually impact the team for the better.
Yeah, no, so the way I view it is that, you know, with Stanton out, it's kind of like, obviously Stanton being hurt is bad, but if you're looking at it from the perspective of Josh Donaldson, right? If you're Josh Donaldson, you've got about a month and a half, maybe 2 months to audition to stay on this team, right? The DH spot is open, which means Torres, LeMahieu, and Donaldson can cycle through the lineup, and they can all play together. You don't have to bench one of them. The other one can just DH. And if you're Josh Donaldson, knowing that the bottom of the lineup has struggled, knowing that, you know, the fans have really just, I mean, at this point, Hicks and IKF have been this team's 2 worst players. As you mentioned, you know, Donaldson hasn't got off to a good start, but he can lean on the fact that it's been 5 games. He had an impressive spring training. Not that Hicks had a bad spring training, but it wasn't nearly as impressive as Donaldson's.
Yeah.
Donaldson has a new batting stance. Donaldson has the better pedigree between the 3 players, right? Like, when you look at it on paper, the guy who has the best chance of those 3 players that, quite frankly, were massively disappointing last year and were the focus of a lot of criticisms of this team, you know, he's the guy who's got the best chance to bounce back. He's the guy who you feel like, all right, if I'm going to pick one of these 3 guys, this is the guy who's likely to return to some form of productive play. Not saying he's going to return to his MVP form, not even saying I think he's going to bounce back, but looking at it from projections, looking at it from the spring training, looking at it from the new batting stance, he's the guy who's got the best chance of being something for this team. And these 2 months are going to be critical for him. You know, LeMahieu was kind of, I'm sorry, at this point, if the postseason started today and Stanton was in the lineup, the guy you're sitting is Josh Donaldson. It's not DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu is the starting third baseman of this team for all absolutely. Purposes. He is the starting third baseman of this team. He's played his butt off. He's hitting the ball extremely hard. He's come up with huge hits for this team. He's gotten off to a blistering hot start. We know what he's capable of when he's healthy. He's already got 3 defensive runs saved and 2 outs above average at third base. He's an excellent defender at the position. You're not losing anything there defensively. There is no reason for the New York Yankees to start Josh Donaldson at third base when Stanton returns, unless, of course, Donaldson is able to hit. And if he's able to hit, you're going to have a good problem in your hands, right? Yeah. We know that that LeMahieu is an older guy, so you anticipate that there is going to be some sort of fatigue issue. We already experienced that earlier last week, where in that Cleveland series, he didn't really play much because of his hamstring. We know that that's going to be a regular occurrence for LeMahieu. He's going to need off days. He's going to need rest. And Donaldson has an opportunity now to make a stake on this team. What do you think is a good baseline for Josh Donaldson to that if Josh Donaldson does X, he'll get more playing time. If Josh Donaldson does X, he'll extend his life on this roster?
Honestly, it's hard to give an exact benchmark for him to reach, because I truly believe that he could go out there and go 0 for 40 and still get not everyday ABs, but get somewhat regular ABs. That's the problem with Josh Donaldson right now, is that the Yankees brought him in, and it's kind of at that point where it's like, damn, they can't really do anything about it other than potentially cut him and eat his money, because no one wants him because of the fact that he's making so much money. He's old as well, and his offensive side of things have just been completely down the drain at this point. But the problem is that if he goes out there and hits really, really well, then you have an issue where it's like, okay, so Josh Donaldson's hitting really well. DJ LeMahieu's still hitting really well. Gleyber Torres is the second baseman and can't really play anywhere else other than second base and DH. And like you said, when Giancarlo comes back, he's going to probably be playing DH a lot because of the fact that he got injured already. So it's not a bad thing if JD plays well. I'm not trying to say it is. I'm just saying it's just going to complicate things further for this team when they already have roster construction issues going on, and they're going to have more roster construction issues going on when Bader returns. So Donaldson, he just needs to hit at all. He right now has a 29 WRC plus in his first 17 plate appearances, which again, way too small of a sample size to run away with and to run into the sunset and say this guy's done, throw him out, throw him off to the curb. But it's getting to the point where 19 or 17 plate appearances is maybe an indication of what's to come for the next 300, 400 if he ends up accumulating that many. So I'd like JD to go out there, post even a 105 WRC plus instead of the 29 that he's posted so far, hit a couple of home runs, and play good defense. That's all we need out of Josh Donaldson at this moment in time. People act like JD and IKF and Hicks are the reason we're not going to win anything this year. But last year we were very good with those three playing every day practically until the end of the season when Hicks really lost his job. IKF got benched in the postseason, yada yada, all that stuff happened. And now you're starting to see what the Yankees view of those guys. IKF has played 9 games this season and has 22 plate appearances. He has a negative 64 WRC plus. He is awful. And the problem is that they're playing him back at third base, which is what his natural position is, but he's not really been that great there either. He's got 0 defensive run saves and -1 out above average in the 33 innings he's played there. And then in center field, he's just kind of been out there, I guess. They're just tossing him out there. But he has a negative .5 F4 right now, and he's only played 9 games, basically. So it's I'm a little bit worried that if Donaldson doesn't hit and doesn't hit well, then the Yankees are going to be forced to make a decision on he or IKF, and they may end up just playing more IKF, but then IKF isn't playing well. It's such an odd rotating door right now of mediocre performances. So we need Donaldson to come back and play well. That is the best situation for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, look, end of the day, having too many good players is a good thing. Having too many productive hitters is a good thing. Guys are bound to get hurt, right? No one anticipated that Stanton was going to miss a month and a half of baseball following, pulling up to second base. Now, I know decelerating and accelerating can cause hamstring issues, but you're not looking at that game thinking, oh, I hope he doesn't pull his hamstring pulling up to second base. That's baseball. It happens, right? That's what happens when you're playing baseball. That's what happens when you're running. That's what happens when you're playing. You're going to get guys who are going to get hurt. And it happens. We saw with Josh Donaldson, hits a pop-up and he's just jogging out of the box and he pulls his hamstring. And he's on the 10-day IL, right? That's unfortunately baseball. So you're going to need as much depth as you can. If I had to put a confidence meter at Donaldson, I'd say it's a 5. I think I can go either way in terms of, I think there's still inkling of hey, maybe there's something there. We know the glove is still good. It's just a matter of, hey, can you get me to a 110 WRC plus? Because that'd be really nice, especially for the bottom of this lineup.
That's all you need, really. You don't need him to be the former MVP all-star third baseman he was. You just need him to not tread water. And right now, he's been treading water since he got over to New York. I know he was a great defender, but right now, he's got 0 outs above average and 0 defensive runs saved in the 5 or 6 games he played at third base. Again, very small sample size. But for reference, DJ Mayhew, like you said, has 3 outs above average and 2 defensive runs saved in like 30, 20 more innings than him. So it's not like DJ's had this massive sample size to compare it against Donaldson, but he's actually been doing the job well at third base. And if JD can't really be a great defender like he was last season, then what does he bring to the table? Because he's not walking either. He's got like a 5% walk rate through this start of the season and a 36% K rate. It just seems like he goes up there and starts floundering at the plate. So I want him to be good, and my confidence meter is probably a 3 if yours is a 5, because you're always a little bit more positive when it comes to JD and stuff. I don't know what to think of it at this point. Like I want to believe that he's going to be a big impact when he comes back, and that he will find some things and find his rhythm and get into the swing of things at the plate. But I just don't know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, no, I look, end of the day for me, I'm just kind of like on the fence about this. I feel like, do I feel like the spring training stance provided something tangible? Yes. Do I think that I'm going to overlook that 2022? Absolutely not. That 2022 was bad. He is an older player. There could be legitimate aging concern, but I'm also not going to, start using, the first 5 games of a season, they were bad. They were really bad. I'm just not going to get too caught up in them. If at the end of May the numbers are bad, then yeah, we're gonna have that DFA conversation. And end of the day, like this is a nice for Donaldson. This is a nice little run for him to have. But the guy who we kind of know is gonna get played, like Harrison Bader. This is a different player situation. Josh Donaldson.
This is something we're looking forward to when he comes back.
Right, and in a sense, more so like, in a sense, I am looking forward for Donaldson to return just because like I think the production from guys like IKF and Hicks have been so brutal that I just like I'll even take a 96 WRC plus. I can't take a negative one. Like Hicks and IKF have been atrociously bad.
Yeah,
like, it's so bad that I'll take meh.
Bad.
It's so bad that I'll take meh. I'll take futility. I'll take mediocrity. I'll take that over downright atrocious. But Harrison Bader is coming back, and Harrison Bader is the guy that, different from Donaldson. Donaldson's more of like this is his chance to prove something. He's got to prove something. He's got these next 4 to 6 to however long it takes for Stan to come back, because if he's not proven himself by then, the opportunities are just not going to be there. Yeah. For Harrison Bader, we know he's a great defender. We know he's a great base runner. The question is, what type of offense are we going to get? Are we going to get 2022 offense where, we knew he was injured. We knew he was coming back from plantar fasciitis with the Yankees. And then with the Cardinals, he was playing through it. But then in the postseason, he got his back leg drive. He was hitting bombs. In 2021, 16 home runs in about 103 games, a 110 WRC plus. Really good offensive numbers for a great defensive center fielder. Looking again at the bottom of this lineup, looking at how the lineup is constructed, right? Bader can slot in as your 6 or 7 hitter. For now at least, when healthy, probably slots permanently into that 7 and 8 spot. But looking at Volpe's leading off today, I don't know if you saw, but Boone had already clarified that Volpe's leading off today despite LeMahieu being in the lineup. That seems like a change they're going to start to make with no Stanton in there.
DJ bat 5th on Sunday.
Yeah, that's probably
he actually played really well in 5th.
Yeah, he's a guy who, he's an RBI machine, I think, because he puts the ball in play so much. But, Bader's going to have an opportunity here to, not prove anything, but more so just like get himself back into that 2021 form. Get himself back into, when I'm healthy, this is what I am. And we know that the power's there. We've seen his max exit velocities. We saw what he did in the postseason. This is a player that's going to benefit from the new base running rules, going to benefit from the new pickoff rules, right? When you're looking at Harrison Bader, what is your confidence meter Harrison Bader coming back? What do you expect from him coming back? Do you think it's going to be a slow start? What do you think? How would you... anyone listening to this, how would you advise to anyone listening to this, how would you advise that they take the Harrison Bader experience starting out?
It's hard, dude. Like, I want to believe that he's going to be fully healthy when he comes back. He's probably going to play in a couple of rehab games. He's been taking swings, been getting in the batting cages. He's been on the field doing drills as well. So Bader's return is also very near. The one thing I worry about is that they rush it back a little bit, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, the 20 games he misses turns into the 60 games he misses. And that's when we kind of run into a real bit of a problem. I'm now in the boat where it's like, if Harrison Bader can suit up for 110 games this season, I will call that a massive win for the Yankees. Because when Harrison Bader plays, he is one of the, if not the best defensive center fielders in baseball. The only guy I guess I'd probably put above him right now is, I'd say Kiermaier is still exceptionally good. And then I'd say Byron Buxton, when he actually plays center field, is like very few other players out there. But Bader, if he can bring some of that offensive value he had in the postseason, and even like you said, his 2021 season where he had a, I believe a 110 WRC plus that year with 16 bombs and then 9 stolen bases, I wouldn't be shocked if we kind of see those flip a little bit, where it's like, oh, he hits 12 home runs, but he steals 18 bases or something like that. Harrison Bader just needs to provide what Harrison Bader's always provided, and he will be a massive fan favorite. Everyone already loves Harrison Bader, that's a Yankees fan, because of his postseason run where he was Barry Bonds. But if he can go out there and put up a 110 WRC plus, steal 20 bases for the rest of the season, and suit up for 120 games that are out of the remaining however many are left right now. I don't even know how many are left at this point. I'm trying to think of like what we got like 140 games left in the season. I'd probably say something close to that. So it's like if we can have Harrison Bader actually playing in those games, that'd be all we need to see from him because his play itself will do the rest of the talking. He's a 4-WAR player, 5-WAR player over a 162 game season. So I think we just let that kind of let him do the talking, let his play do the talking for him. So my confidence though, it's a lot higher than JD. Like I believe he'll come back and produce, but I do worry that he'll come back and just potentially re-aggravate something or pull up again or make a play out in center field and then feel like he kind of tweaked something. I don't know. It's different than when John Smoltz is like, if Judge can stay healthy, because Judge has proven he can stay healthy. Bader, for the past couple of years, has not. So I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to play well, and that's all you can ask for with him. He's such a good player when he's on the field.
Yeah, and that's the key thing here, when he's on the field. And Harrison Bader, we know, if he can give you, around even, league average offense, the outfield depth for the Yankees has been kind of decimated. Again, IKF the Knicks being so piss poor has made it so that the Yankees, you got to put Franchy Cordero in the lineup because Franchy Cordero's probably their second or third best everyday outfielder right now. Your outfield,
he's kind of fallen off a bit these past couple of games as well now.
He's a streaky hitter, and you knew what you were getting with Cordero. You knew you were getting a streaky hitter. You knew that that's exactly what Franchy Cordero is. He's a streaky hitter. He's a big strikeout guy, boomer bust. That's exactly what he is. And your outfield right now is Judge, Cabrera, and Cordero. You can probably remove one of Cordero or Cabrera. I'd probably say they take Cordero out against lefties and they'll figure it out somehow. I'm not sure what the mix matching looks like.
Yeah.
But Bader's an excellent defensive center fielder. Your defense in the outfield gets better. You're just a better team with you're a better team with Harrison Bader. There's no doubt about it. And as you mentioned, he can go out and run a lot. These new pickoff rules, these new bases, they're going to benefit Harrison Bader. This is a team that, I don't know if you read that article discussing the bunny hop strategy the Yankees are doing with their base running, where they're taking a little hop step right before they take off, and that allows them to get better jumps. If Harrison Bader was working out with the Yankees, which I imagine he was, and I imagine he is, with his blistering speed, he's faster than Volpe according to sprint speed. Now I'm not sure if sprint speed is always accurate in terms of is that accurate for your first to second times? Is that more your home to first times? However you want to record it, but he's at least as fast as Anthony Volpe. And Anthony Volpe's torn up the base paths, right? Pitchers and catchers, they can't stop him, right? You have him and
Gleyber's
Volpe.
got 5 steals.
Right. You have him. Imagine Volpe and Bader in the same lineup with that speed stealing bases. This team's going to do a lot of things. And again, the bottom of the lineup has really struggled. But we know guys like Trevino who are not good hitters, but can go out and make a lot of contact. If you're Harrison Bader and you're able to get to second and Trevino's able to just move you over and you have a situation where runner on third and one out and the top of the lineup's coming up, that's a really good spot to be in. That creates runs, right? So the Yankees can get a little more creative there. Ultimately, I think that these two guys coming back can't really hurt the Yankees unless Donaldson goes out there and stinks to the point where the Yankees for some reason keep playing him, which I really don't foresee. If he's really that bad, I don't think the Yankees are going to keep playing him. If he's even a 96 WRC plus hitter or 100, the Yankees will play him simply because the bottom of the lineup is that bad. It's been that terrible that it would be the right decision to play him. And for Harrison Bader, it's just a matter of staying healthy. Even if he's a 90 WRC plus hitter, his defense and glovers and base running is so good, he'll probably cruise to 2.5, 3 wins. He's just that good.
That's true.
End of the day, it's kind of Harrison Bader, I think, has the chance. He's either another Jose Trevino in the sense of he's there for his glove, he's there for the things that he doesn't do offensively, or he's Harrison Bader from 2021, which would be the ideal outcome because that would be a really nice bat to have in this lineup. But I guess kind of last thoughts here. If you're constructing this lineup, you have Donaldson and Bader back. How are you ordering the 1 through 9 and which positions are you going to put guys in? I guess LeMahieu and Donaldson's kind of a coin toss for whoever plays DH and third base. But what's your order?
Right now, I'd probably go if they're both in the lineup when they return. I do. If the Yankees are also kind of committing now to playing Volpe as the leadoff guy when DJ's in the lineup, then I'll just go off of that. So I'll do Volpe leadoff, Judge 2, Rizzo 3, Stanton 4, DJ 5. Or wait, no, with Stanton not there, excuse me. I guess I'm looking a little bit down the road here. But with no Stanton, I'd probably go Glaber 4, DJ 5, JD 6, or Oswaldo 6, JD 7, Oswaldo 7, and then you'd have Bader 8, Trevino 8, Bader 9, Trevino 9. Because it doesn't really mean much to me. I mean, I know that like in terms of lineup construction, you usually want your worst hitter in the 8 hole, and you want a guy that could kind of act like a second leadoff hitter in the 9 hole, which is why I'd probably place Bader in the 9 spot. I know he doesn't work walks, but he gets on base a little bit more than Trevino. He's also kind of got more to his game and his arsenal than Trevino. And Trevi hasn't been that awful out of the 8 hole this season. So I'd go with that. That would be my lineup if I had to pick one. And then you could, if you wanted to, you could swap LeMahieu and Volpe and have DJ bat lead off and Volpe bat 9th, and then move everyone up a spot. So then you got Bader batting like 7th or 6th, and then Oswaldo batting 7th or 6th, and JD back in the 5 hole. So that's the only real 2 options I guess I could see for this lineup when they come back.
Yeah, the way I view it is I think Volpe moving to leadoff spot's a good thing. Judge, Rizzo, LeMahieu, Torres, or Torres, LeMahieu. I don't really, whoever's hotter is, I think LeMahieu's probably hitting 5th. That's usually what they've done. I think that's fine. 6 is probably Cabrera just because the lefty-righty thing going on there. And then 7 Donaldson, 8 Bader, and 9 Trevino I think works. I think that lineup also on paper just looks a lot better than some of the lineups we've gotten early on in the year. Not that the Yankees have been a bad offense. You know, they're averaging 4.6 runs a game. They have a 106 WRC plus as a team, considering the fact that they've gotten, again, like some of the worst production I think I've seen from, you know, a lot of the guys on the bench. You know, again, Hicks and IKF have been that bad. I think they've accounted for negative 8.
Dark.
Yeah, they've accounted for negative 40 WRC plus and a negative 0.8 F4. I checked this.
That's not okay.
Yeah, the Yankees would jump up 5 spots on the position player, F4 list for teams if they just didn't roster IKF or Hicks. I think one of those 2 at the least are getting axed at some point. Because again, Donaldson and Bader coming back means, you know, I think the reason, obviously we know Peraza's getting optioned. And then the next guy would probably be Calhoun.
Yeah, Willie's
right?
gone.
Yeah.
And I like Willie. He hasn't been that bad at hitting, but he's only a hitter. He can't.
Yeah,
play
the issue
defense,
is
really.
he's a DH, and he can't play the field, and he's
But
not.
he may hang out a little bit longer now because Stanton's gone, so maybe they would want him to play some more DH days. But then that, like you said, it just leads to what do you do between Hicks and IKF?
Right, you got to cut one of them. And I think that day when Stan returns, they're gonna have to answer that question. But at that point, like Cordero could slump, and that could, you know. There are avenues for those guys to stay on the roster, but I wonder how much longer they will. But with that being said, I'm
excited for that, dude. It'll be like it's like the Skip Bayless clip when we cut Hicks. It'll be like, "There's a parade in my city." Yeah,
dude, I have no idea. Like the Yankees are gonna have to make some really tough roster decisions in the next 2 months at least.
Yeah,
and also
and it's interesting. Because they'll be heading into the All-Star break too, and you'll be like, are the Yankees going to be looking to improve in any like positions? Is the outfield still going to be a problem? Do they want DJ to be playing third base every day, or do they want to pursue another guy to potentially take reps there?
Right.
There's so many question marks right now with this team.
And Donaldson's play as well. If Donaldson's able to play well,
if he lasts through the All-Star break, he's got to be doing something right.
Right. Or Bader's health, right? Like the health of different guys. You know, there's going to be a lot of questions to answer, but with that being said, if you guys want to join the conversation, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We got you guys covered on everything that's going on. Pre-game shows, daily podcasts, post-game recaps, everything of the sort. Mondays, we're doing Monday mailbags, so we'll tweet out on our @Fireside Yankees account on Twitter for when you guys can comment some questions and let us know what you guys want to talk about. You can join the conversation on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as well. If you're listening to this on Apple or on Spotify, make sure to drop a 5-star rating. And of course, above our heads are our Twitter accounts. You guys can follow us there and see what we're talking about when it comes to the Yankees as well and join the conversation there. We love the support you guys have been giving us lately, and we're eternally grateful. Peace out.